We're going to talk about, and I'm going to teach you exactly what to do when someone dismisses, downplays, or belittles your feelings. Have you ever told someone exactly how you were feeling? And you did it calmly and clearly and like an emotional adult. And they responded with something like, relax, or don't be so dramatic, or why do you always have to make things a big deal? Or why are you so sensitive? Why can't you just be more chill? And suddenly you're left questioning the validity of your own experience, of your own feelings, of your own nervous system's reaction. But this isn't because you're wrong, your feelings are wrong, or your experience is wrong. It's because they don't know how to tolerate their own discomfort about your discomfort. They don't know what to do with your feelings, especially if those feelings are about them or something that they've done. This is one of the most subtle forms of emotional immaturity, and you might not even know that that's what it is. But honestly, it can be one of the most damaging because it erodes trust. It erodes the ability to be honest and authentic and feel safe in a relationship. When someone downplays or belittles your feelings, what you might hear is your need is too big, or your needs don't matter, or you don't matter. But what they're really saying is that I don't want to deal with my impact. Having to face something that I may have done that may have hurt or upset someone is too much for me, and I can't handle it. And there's a bunch of different reasons why they might feel that way, why they feel like they don't want to deal with it, or why they can't handle it. But I want you to know that none of them have to do with you. And here I'm going to tell you exactly what they do have to do with so that you can understand what's really going on and stop feeling like it's your fault, like you are wrong, like you're not allowed to have your own feelings or your own needs. And then I'm going to teach you exactly how to respond when someone does belittle or dismiss or negate your experience when you share it in a clean, clear, and classy way. But first, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Kristina, and I am a registered clinical therapist, a researcher, a coach, a speaker, and the creator of the Shift Society, which is my membership community where we are taking this work to the next level, and you are being guided and supported the whole way through. I help smart, sensitive humans get emotionally grounded, communicate clearly, and stop losing themselves in relationships or even in their own lives. So, why do they do it? Well, when you complain about something that they are doing or not doing, what happens is it activates their nervous system. They have feelings that come up, whether or not that's obvious, but they are having something that's happening inside of them. Their nervous system is being activated. And if they don't know what to do with those feelings, then it's easier for them to shut down yours than to face theirs. They are going to shut down yours because they don't know what to do with or how to manage what's going on inside of them. This is emotional immaturity 101. And if we're going to take this even one level deeper, it's because accountability to them can feel like danger, like a real threat. For some people, being told they hurt someone feels like shame, like failure, like I'm the bad one, like I'm a terrible person. So even on an unconscious level, they protect themselves from those feelings that they might not even be fully conscious of, but they are protecting them from having to feel that shame or their own pain, again, by minimizing yours. They might say things like, oh, it's not a big deal, or why do you have to get so worked up about these silly things? And it's not because that is true, but because admitting it feels like too much for them. So now if we're going to take it 2 levels deeper and understand why they feel that shame or feel like that failure or feel like someone else's emotions are a threat to them, that is likely because they grew up in a family where their emotions were punished, where they felt unsafe having their own feelings, or where there was no one there to be there for their big feelings in the first place. They were essentially emotionally neglected. There was no one that cared about what they were feeling. So they learned really early to shut it down, to lock it down, to not do anything with their feelings, which makes it so they don't know how to handle somebody else's. So then their instinct is when you have an emotion, they shut it down. But caveat, this doesn't decrease the impact that it has on you. I'm not telling you this so that we're going to excuse this kind of hurtful or harmful behavior. Absolutely not. But by understanding what's actually going on here, you can start to see and truly understand that it's not about you. It's not because your feelings aren't valid, your needs are important. You aren't important. It's because of what's going on inside of them. And that will reduce your bitterness, your resentment, your anger, you thinking that there's something wrong with you, you doubting yourself, or you feeling bad or wrong about yourself for having any feelings in the first place. This understanding does not excuse, but it recuses yourself from a lot of the emotional damage or hurt or harm that comes from this kind of behavior. And then from there, if you would like to do something different as a response to it, other than taking it personally or feeling like a terrible person or shutting down or becoming really angry and bitter and resentful towards this person, you can do something different that will hopefully and likely have a different impact on the dynamic and then a different outcome for the relationship altogether. Understanding that some people don't know what to do with vulnerability, that honesty and openness and sharing of feelings and impact is incredibly uncomfortable for them. And they might not even be aware that it's that uncomfortable for them. What they do is they just shut it down, shut it out, diminish it, belittle it, push it away as quickly as possible. It is their coping mechanism. It is not you being wrong for having feelings in the first place. All that said, what doesn't work, and I say this with love, is trying to convince them that your feelings, your experience is valid. They're not dismissing you because you made a weak argument or because they didn't understand what was going on with you. They're dismissing you because they can't tolerate the discomfort that comes with someone else having feelings or thoughts or a reaction to their actions or choices. You can't logic or convince someone into emotional maturity. But fear not all is lost. There are things that you can do. And the first one is to name the dynamic. Clear, calm, and neutral, because your regulated nervous system is going to impact the state of their nervous system. So simply acknowledging the dynamic, saying something like, I hear that this wasn't a big deal for you, but it was a big deal for me, and I need you to acknowledge that. This instantly shifts you out of defensiveness or justification, and it brings you into that grounded clarity for yourself and for what is actually happening in this dynamic. The next thing that you can do is bring it back to the original issue. Avoid taking the bait of them deflecting and going off and talking about something else entirely, and bring it back to what is happening now. You can say something as simple as, we can talk about that later, but right now I need us to focus on the tone that was used, or the need that was ignored, or the agreement that wasn't met. This is a boundary, not a battle. The next thing you can do with someone who is extra sensitive to any kind of feedback is to do your best to remove that shame target. Instead of making it about them, identify the pattern, not them particularly as the problem. Identify what is happening, not as much what they have done or what they are doing. Saying something as simple as, when my feelings get minimized, it shuts me down. I don't feel important. I don't feel valued. I want us to communicate better than that, to understand each other better than that, to have a better relationship than that. And that not only focuses on the pattern, but it also creates this common goal that ultimately both of you want. Anyone in a relationship wants a good relationship, even if it seems like they don't, or they don't know how, or they don't seem to be putting in the effort. Often it is because they don't know how. They don't know how to navigate their feelings. And so they just shut them down and maybe even push you away because they don't know what to do with your emotions. But again, that's not about you. And if you can bring it back to a common goal that you both want, it takes them out of the defensive position and into the mutual benefit outcome. You're focusing on a common goal, not winning an argument. And the next thing you can do, and this one is key, and I did mention it a minute ago, but this one is going to have one of the biggest impacts on any difficult or vulnerable or uncomfortable or even confronting conversation. And this one is about you regulating yourself before you say or do anything. Communication is far more effective when it is coming from a regulated nervous system. When you can speak calmly and clearly, and as I like to say, classily, which means that you're not loading it with any kind of aggressiveness or passive aggressiveness, you're just keeping that communication clean, clear, and classy from that regulated nervous system. That is going to significantly change the outcome of any conversation. That in and of itself, if you did one thing from this talk today, working on regulating yourself before saying or doing anything, you're going to see what happens with that. And if you want some help with this, get my 3-step emotional reset plan. Right now, it's completely free. You can get it through the link in the description below. And that's just going to run you through a really simple exercise that you can do in 3 quick steps that's going to help you reset your emotions when you're feeling triggered, when you're feeling upset, when you're feeling hurt, when you're feeling thrown off, to get that better outcome right from the get-go. And the next thing that you can do, if you want your feelings to be heard, if you want your needs to be acknowledged, if you just want to communicate better and have what you are thinking or feeling land better for the person on the other side in any relationship, is to just get better at communicating. And this can come in some different ways, but I have a 3-step framework that's going to be really helpful for this. And this framework might be something that some of you are already doing, but having it organized in this way is going to really help you stay focused on when you are communicating what a rhythm or structure can look like that's going to be more likely to get you the outcome that you want, which is that understanding, that collaboration, that connection, feeling heard, feeling important in the relationship. And this one is the impact, need, invitation framework. So simply stating the impact that you are feeling. This isn't about them and their behavior. This is about how it impacted you. What's coming up from you? I felt scared. I felt unimportant. I feel belittled. I feel like I'm not being heard, right? So being able to say, what is the impact on you? And then being able to say what you need. I need us to have this conversation. I need you to slow down when we're on the highway and I'm feeling unsafe, that you're driving too fast. I need you to acknowledge that this is important. I need us to work together so that we can both feel good and heard and valued in this relationship. And then the invitation is asking them if they are willing to do this with you, asking them if they are willing to make this change, if they are willing to consider this, if they are willing to do something differently, if they are willing to acknowledge that this had an impact on you, and if they are willing to work together to make things better. So the impact, the need, and the invitation. I do go into this and a lot more healthy communication, assertive communication, effective communication tools and frameworks and steps in my power-packed assertive communication masterclass, Speak and Feel Heard. You can get it through the link in the description. That one is available right now. And I think we have it at a special promotional offer. So make sure that you do check that out. Speak and Feel Heard. Now, what do you do when you have done all these things? You have really worked on how you are showing up, how you are communicating, how you are expressing what your needs are. and the impact that it's had on you and all the things that we've talked about, and they still can't hear you. It still seems like they don't care. You're still being dismissed or belittled. What now? Here's the hard truth. If someone repeatedly dismisses your feelings or avoids accountability or shuts down every attempt at connection, at authenticity, at getting to understanding and better in the relationship, this is not a conversation problem. This is a deeper patterned dynamic problem that person, that they are struggling with and can't seem to get anywhere from. So then the question becomes, there's going to be a whole lot of other questions that you might be asking yourself if this is what's happening. But one of the questions is for you to not be losing yourself in this dynamic, to not let their inability to handle emotion become the reason that you stay stuck in the dysregulation of your own. That's where emotional maturity becomes a you thing, not a them thing. I teach more on this in that Assertive and Effective Communication course, Speak and Feel Heard. And in the meantime, you can also get my 3-step emotional reset plan. And that one, again, is going to walk you through how to regulate your emotions in real time with 3 simple steps whenever you're feeling triggered or derailed or off or hurt or upset. Bringing yourself back down, taking off the edge of the intensity of that emotion is going to allow you to get more clarity for how you want to think, what you want to do, how you want to respond. And it's really going to help so much with that. And right now, it's completely free. So you can grab that in the link in the description below. Both of those, Speak and Feel Heard and the 3-step emotional reset plan, depending on where you're at and what you need most right now, one or the other, or even both. Knowing that being in a relationship, any relationship with someone who dismisses or downplays or belittles your experience, your needs, your emotions is really hurtful. But don't let it make you doubt the validity of yourself, of your feelings, of your reality, of your truth. Don't let their inability to cope with emotions be the reason that you dismiss, shut down, or downplay your own. Your feelings are valid, your needs are valid, and you are valid. It's always good to have you here. And until next time, take good care of yourself, take good care of those around you. Bye for now.